It's fine. So this is where I'm at right now. 5, 6, 7. I like dancing. It's so cool. You can whip, you can dab, you can pipe it up steps. You can really rock and move your toes. I got all the moves. I'm so cool.
I'm in an off-weight mind state, where our lead level's higher than our crime rate. Our lead levels is the reason for our crime rate. This where they rob you for your frames on a blind date. I'm from a place where our babies don't make it to 1, because they die from miscarriages, maybe a gun. And we just go and grab a bottle or maybe a blunt, and pray our pain go away as quick as it come. I'm feeling numb. In the city, we pray for our daughters. Where I'm from, the corner stores sell more beer than water. And the bums there like they got a membership. The Arabs ain't giving back, ain't no commemorance. This epidemic is systemic, it's substance abuse. Ain't nobody got a job and liquor is juice. This way your friend will kill you like Bishop on juice. This way you get crucified for telling the truth. Ain't no excuse. The cops will shoot you with no hesitation. Majority of the men in jail or probation. And all our women leave cause they run out of patience. Cause they take away our freedom like our reparations. Halfway homes. Cleveland, Ohio, the 5th Ward. The Central community is often glorified by the violence in the community. But in the 1950s, the 60s, and the 70s, the Central community was known for breeding intellects, athletes, and politicians. The most noticeable person from the Central community, Jesse Owens. East Tech graduate, 4-time gold medalist, specialized in sprints and long jump, died in 1980. Lonnie Burton, former councilman of the 5th Ward, Central community, died in 1984. Dwayne Brada, the former commissioner of CMHA of the Central community, died in 2017. Carl Stokes, the first black mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, and the 51st mayor, died in 1996. Frank Jackson, also raised in the Central community, became the 57th mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, in November of 2005. Phyllis Cleveland, the current councilwoman of the 5th Ward, also born and raised in the Central community.
There were a lot of systemic problems in Garden Valley. There was a lot of crime. There was a lot of really substandard housing and things like that relative to the construction of how the community housing was then, the government housing was then, constructed like old prison wards, you know, still the 1940s kind of, well, it's going to be temporary. But it never really was, you know, just like, I guess Morris Black, you got stuff from 70 years ago that's still over there. And, you know, you build it like the old government tenement houses, and, you know, you have people living on top of each other. So there was a lot of crime, lack of resources, too many people. So when you have those things going on in the community, it's bad. And then the drug age hit in the 1980s. And because of the amount of people and the social and economic problems which are endemic to the area, you know, it became havens for drug houses and other things in the community. It was bad. You know, people didn't even want to come up in here. You know, I used to catch a cab, and the cab would drop me off on Kids. I ain't going over. I was like, I live in a house, because I don't live in the projects necessarily. I live in the area. I live in a house right there. No, I ain't going up in there. So that's what it was like. No, people were afraid to come in. Nobody, nobody had anything positive to say. And really, the community, citywide, countywide, had given up on the people that live up over here.
I come from a single parent home. I grew up on Kinsman. Started off in Garden Valley, 7211 Kinsman. Moved to 135th, 33 East 135th Street. And then I moved to 149th, 3942 East 149th Street. So I did my tour, Kinsman. But what really got me involved is the culture that I had. Janet Tribble, she's a teacher. She's a principal lead now in CMSD. Her and her husband, James Tribble, he was the head PO. They kind of took me under my wing because I was kind of a hothead, little man complex. I always wanted to defend myself. So I took that, and when I became the director of Boys and Girls Club, it was funny because my wife and I I was working at the Calgary Hills Boys School, and I was my 4th year there, and my wife and I were eating at a restaurant at Shaker Square. And a lady came up to me, she said, "Do you work with kids?" And I said, "Yeah, I got the job for you. You want to be director of Kennedy Boys and Girls Club?" And I didn't know nothing about it. I just said, "Can I come down and view it?" So for 3 days, I just viewed it. And to be quite honest, it was hectic. It was rough, undisciplined, fighting. And by my 3rd day, I just told the young lady, "I'll take it." I lost out on some payment as far as the pay scale working with the state of Ohio with Calgary Hills. But when I went down there, I just thought I was needed. I felt that I was needed. I lose them sometimes to different schools because they're thinking they can't succeed down here, and I show them my wall, but sometimes I'm defeated because of the unknown. I call it the unknown. Yeah.
We were all family. It was like the parents there, they can discipline somebody else's child. It's like whatever happened from one end of the projects to the other end of the projects, you best assured to know that your parents knew by the time you got home. Not to say that, we didn't have any tragedy down there. We had some tragedies down there. I lost a couple of family members down in Garden Valley, but yet and still, the love was still there.
At one point, the Central community had its glory days. A lot of success and great stories came out the Central community. But in the late 90s and 2000s is when the community started to take a turn for the worse. Known for the heavy gun violence and generational neighborhood beefs, led to prison, turf wars, drug activity, and high number of homicides. One of the most memorable feuds in the Central community, King Kennedy Projects versus the Garden Valley Projects. What was one of the worst memories that you had around the time King Kennedy and Garden Valley was feuding?
When my man Snar got killed, man, that changed the whole game of everything. Like, cause we wasn't playing with guns then, but we was fighting. We was running through hoods, tearing shit up. It wasn't a such thing as a 30 or a 100-round drum or none of that. It was them 2 fists. But after that, that shit forced a lot of people's hand, and it went elsewhere.
My dude Nard, man, good fella, man, little hooping nigga.
Yeah.
Wasn't even in the streets, but it was like we was kids. We was only 14, 15, and that was the first death of many deaths.
Yeah.
Leonard was a guy that I talked on the phone with, weekend after weekend, day in and day out, in which we used to schedule my friends, me and my boys with King Kennedy, to go to Garden Valley in the Hill and play him and his boys in football. Like, me and him was coordinating it. We was like the general managers. He like, y'all don't want this rack, man. Y'all don't want this rack. And we calling each other phones. And we just getting phones. So we was, you know what I mean? That's how you was blowing phones up. And he's like, man, y'all get this rack. And we'd go down there. And they would come down here and play. and there was no beef. But then that day changed because he was shot.
When I first moved here, it was nice, but now it's real bad. I had 3 grandsons get killed down here. Leonard, Michael, and Johnny.
So how long have you been in the community?
I've been here 15 years.
15 years?
Mm-hmm.
And all 15 years has been bad?
No, It been bad about 10 years ago. It's been bad, real bad.
So what is your vision of a healthy community?
Oh, they need to change things, you know. Police, they come sometimes. People, they got dogs running everywhere. You know, people fighting stuff.
When I moved down here, it was just like everybody got to fend for them and themselves. Ain't no kindness, nothing. It's dog or get dog, basically how it was. So I'm like, okay, I gotta adapt to this or I'm not gonna survive down here at all. So my go-to instinct was befriend people down here. Try to make this community a little less violent than what it was. So it's some good and bad things about it. The Valley, people think the Valley is, oh, it's just gangbangers shooting, everybody dying down there. It's not really that bad. You gotta see from the inside out. Y'all looking on the outside in. It's not.
20 years. Been down here 20 years.
20 years.
Too long.
So how was the community growing up?
When it first started, when they first redid these apartments, they were nice. They were actually nice. No rodents, none of that. Until they just started, I guess management changed and they just started letting anybody move in. They used to do thorough background checks before they let the tenants move in. They don't do that anymore. You know, they don't do that anymore. And the crime in this specific area has gone down, but it's still bad. It's still bad. Break-ins, it's still bad.
Different. You know, everybody always talking about you live in a project. I'm not a project. This is my home. This is where I live at. So I'm going to protect my community and do what I got to do for my community.
Not only is the central community plagued by the violence, it's also plagued by other systematic issues. With unbelievable data and crazy statistics like over 60% of the central residents don't have transportation. Over 50% of the central residents make less than $10,000 a year. Also, the central community have a very high percentage in infant mortality, one of the largest percentages in America, meaning the amount of infants dying before the age of 1. With no grocery store in the central community, it's also known as a food desert. With the departure of the community's only grocery store, Dave's Supermarket, central residents' only option to shop for food and fresh produce is local gas stations, local mom and pop stores, and fast food restaurants. Let's go inside of one of the mom and pop stores, the longest and most successful black-owned business in the central community. Pause.
When you first opened this business, how long have you been in?
Like 62 years now.
62 years? So what was his mission when he first came into the community?
Oh, basically he had gotten out of the service and jobs were hard to come by in this area in the 50s. And so he elected to start his own business as he was always his own man for the most part. So he figured he could do it better than anyone else. And his desire was to serve the community which he grew up in. He grew up on 38th Street. And so that was his overall mission.
Since the departure of Dave's, have this store picked up any more traffic?
Yeah, quite a bit. Primarily, the one thing that Dave's carried that other typical corner stores don't carry is fresh meats and fresh produce. And so one staple in a lot of families is chicken. So while we cook chicken here, we also have chicken that is fresh chicken for people to fry. And another thing is just simple veggies. So, you know, we have sweet potatoes, white potatoes, tomatoes, bell peppers, lemons, corn on the cob, lettuce, oranges, apples, Can't think of all of them right now, but basically there's about a combination of 12 to 15 fruits and veggies.
What we do here is very impactful to the youth and to the community because we're bringing education as far as urban agriculture to the urban areas to teach people how to become more self-sufficient and self-sustaining. And the youth play a big part of that because again, they're the future. So we want to make sure that we train and educate them well.
It's key to it would be getting the kids a different experience than what they're used to. Because if you're aware, we in the inner city of Cleveland, it's an impoverished community. It's a lot of different statistics that's against us. For example, 25% of Cleveland is in the food desert. And if you're not familiar with the food desert, that's just we lack access to nutritional food. We got kids in this community that's going to shop at grocery stores, or not grocery stores, but corner stores for groceries. And it's kind of like a tier breakdown where like the produce goes. It starts off at, the Whole Foods, the Trader Joe's, then it goes all the way down to your Save-A-Lots and, the other stores that's in the city. So like the space between them. Yeah, just the space between them. Having them over here and exposed to it, it gives them a different avenue, and it sparks their mind with something different. And the main message we want to preach is you have to grow your own food. So kids down here, they seem to be intrigued by it just because we have a younger presence and we're showing them it. It's different from their parent or an elder telling them about it, because they'll look at it and be like, okay, this is just someone older than me just telling me something. But me, I'm 22 years old, so them hearing it from me and seeing me demonstrate, it's like, okay, this is cool, I can relate to this a bit better. So that's probably the biggest key to it. We want them to be able to grow their own.
Farming is so important to me because when you grow your own food, you know exactly what's on it and you don't gotta worry about all the GMOs and pesticides.
Teaching the children and adults, is very, very important. So each one teach one, and then they go on to teach others. This is pretty much like a beacon in the community where they can come and they can learn how to do this in their communities. Because that's one of the goals, is we want to spread this, to every urban city in the country, every urban area, different urban areas in the city, so that our not only our people, but people in general can be more exposed to this and become a part of it and help to grow it, because that's more important. So not only do we transform communities, I like to say we transform communities as well.
I'm trying to help unify these children. If we don't unify them one way, I think music can be a way. Okay? And like I said, I'd rather see them youngins out there with an instrument than a Glock 9 pointing at somebody they don't even know. Which in essence, we've had 15 little babies under 5 years old dead in Cuyahoga County. I ain't talking about the state of art, I'm talking about right here. These kids need some better direction.
I know how to, I study the melody. So it's like, I made my own version of the beat. So it's like if you had like a runway show, right? Have some chords, you know what I'm saying?
I like how they all have a certain time they go. Chords.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's still following the rules of time.
You see me. Yeah, I know you see me, and believe me, by the time I'm done, you're gonna wanna be me. Guess who is back to rock the mic again? Okay, here is some quotes for you and all your friends. You see that no limit, so it means I got no end. I came from the bottom with nothing, but now I got that bread to spend. Hey, I know I'm not mean, but I do come off as heartless, cause I've been used so much that I just tend to use my heart less. I stay saying no, and I recognize I get liked far less. Some of the people I've been with need Jesus, and I mean it. God bless. I'm just a nice person, and yeah, I need to stop it. My feelings get twisted, turned, and pulled, but I ain't bop it. You may have something good, but I promise you I will top it. And like I said, hand me the mic, baby, and I'll rock it. You see me. Yeah, I know you see me, and believe me, by the time I'm done, you're gonna wanna be me. You see me. Yeah, I know you see me, and believe me, by the time I'm done, you're gonna wanna be me. I been knew I had talent, but knew I could rise to the top. It took a while to get going, it's gonna be a while till I stop. Cause this game keep me tied up, cut me loose, you'll find my knots. You ain't known me before, but I know I ain't gonna be forgot, cause I stay blessed. And I mean that, no sneezing, I'm not trying to get in fights, but watch out, I might leave you wheezing. Came right out the ghetto, you gon' always find me gleaming. I've been played and lied to, but that don't mean I have no meaning. I came straight out the ghetto with no dress code. You might as well take notes for your next. We gon' be here for a while, recognize us by the smile. Talking out my from the side, you need more dental. Talking out my from the side, you need more dental. Talking out my from the side, you need more dental. Thank you.
Being a part of this team helped me because at first I don't want to say I was just a rapper. That's what I was really focusing on, was rap. Then when we were approached to create a curriculum around hip hop, that challenged me first because I've never created a curriculum, even though before I worked with youth in like the daycare centers. It really challenged me to create a curriculum around hip hop to actually teach youth how to rap and how to express themselves through rap.
I've got a chance to create some new material, as well as working on material with the kids has also helped me to enhance like my mixing, my mastering capabilities, I guess, because when you're working with new stuff, you got different techniques and things like that that you can try or expand and range upon. So.
Working with Fresh Flow has inspired me. Just being around the kids has inspired me a whole lot. Taking me back to like that childhood creativity, is being in that environment and seeing how things can just roll off. They don't really, think too much about stuff. they're just creative, they just express themselves. So I mean, it's helped me personally and professionally just to like tap into that like childlike, you know, imagination and innovation.
his tags, the Sano tags. So more importantly than being our art gallery, the red line connected us to other artists. You know what I'm saying? Like artists that look like us, come from where we come from, vibe to the same music at the time. You know, it was breakdancing, spinning on our heads, doing windmills and all that stuff, right? That was the culture. The red line was our social media. Really, it was our social media at the time, because he would put up a piece and then we would cuss cool, or we would, on a Saturday morning, we would hop on the red line and go from Windermere to the airport, then from the airport back to Windermere, then Windermere to 105, and then in between 105, just to see these pieces, right?
Looking forward to bringing everybody together, selling this juice.
What I'm looking forward to in this festival, I'm looking to see community come out and come together to enjoy this event.
That's going to be huge. I think it's going to change the relationship that people have with Central Kids.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see, I think, people from this community be proud of where they're from, and it's going to be cool to see people who are literally afraid to even come to Kinsman Central neighborhood, like make their way out here because they've heard over it all, and they heard of the stuff that we're doing. So like changing that narrative, and I really think that that's going to be effective.
So the Fresh Low program, you know, is teaching those kids to take ownership of the neighborhood and develop their vision for that space from, you know, from what I understand kind of from the outside. And
like DVR. Are these my feelings ever be recalled? Get it right like however all. She never fall. Well, order up them calls, then let them know. The way back and forth, I'm boxing like VCR. These my feelings just press record. You been chilling since I last recalled. Meet me here and we won't be caught. So look
Fresh Fest helps like push my brand in terms of like what I do. One, with Freshlow in general, in terms of social media marketing, it got me to be exposed to like a real grassroots area of kids with crazy, awesome personalities and like ambitions on entrepreneurship, and just being able to like connect my vision, which is like inspiring the uninspired through individuality and showcasing your art, to be able to collaborate with a like-minded brand like Freshlow. That was the first thing I would say like definitely helped mold me in terms of the partnership, but then like working on the different projects in terms of like open mics or just like talks in terms of like student talks or like even the program, like that stuff has got me more like into community development with different organizations. So I would say it's definitely like help spread the mission of Indie in terms of like what I want to do with community organizations. Because now since we all did do Fresh Fest together, it's like there's certain community opportunities that are coming from that, and like I know that the community needed something like that, even though they might not say it because they didn't know that could actually happen yet. But now that it happened, in terms of like Fresh Fest being like low-key the best festival Cleveland had this summer, I would definitely say in general for Cleveland, the whole Freshlow brand is like something to watch out for right now. Like
2 years old, and I've been in the community for 32 years. So for me to see this inside of the community, which we never saw this, we never had a Fresh Fest inside the community, and where we at is just dominated with violence and just a lot of negativity. So for the Fresh Fest to come to our community and bring a lot of positivity, bring a lot of different vendors, and show us different opportunities in the community is big. So yeah, Fresh Fest was a big thing. Freshlow was a great thing.
I definitely feel a lot closer to community through working with Freshlow, actually being in the community, talking to the people from, the kids to the elders. I feel a lot closer to community. I feel, I don't know, just happy to be a part of the work. Seeing Fresh Fest, like that was amazing to be a part of. I'm really excited to do more work with Fresh Fest and see what that can grow into within that community.
It's really, really expanded me as an artist, and really being able to take the skills that I'm learning through this process and also teach it back to the youth. So it's really fun.
But what Freshlow did was bring structure and help me build a curriculum. So yeah, if it wasn't for Freshlow, I wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So yeah, it was more structure helping me build.
All the heels, like they end up going to jail, they drop out of school, all that stuff, and I'm trying to change that, like trying to change my family name to like something more positive. Like I'm trying to be able to break the cycle, like oh for real, like they DeMarshawn, like you seen him though, like he in college right now. He about to go to the NFL, the NBA, he about to be a scientist, he about to be a doctor, anything like that, like anything more than Marshawn, yeah, he in jail, bro, like he dead. Like, I don't want to end up like that. Like I really want to change like my life and like go on a different course.
Before Freshlow, I was that kid that didn't like to talk to nobody. Like I'm that kid that's going home every day, do her homework, go to sleep, go to school, repeat it the next day. I did not like to talk to nobody and nothing. Like I was just that shy kid. But being in Freshlow, I had to interact with people, or you're not getting no benefit out of it. So that boosted my confidence and brought me more out of my shell. Now I can walk up and talk to any and everybody. Like I'm talkative now. You can't get me to shut up.
Love is an incredible thing, and we don't know love like we should. We always talk about I have unconditional love. Unconditional love is, we don't even know it. Because if a person stops stimulating us, we stop loving them. You're not interesting to talk to anymore. Goodbye. But that real love that sometimes is difficult, that's that love.
Yeah. All right. Dear God, I hope you hear me out. It's hell on earth and it ain't worth all of this nonsense we do for clout. Sometimes I wonder, do you even care? Cause all the people that you took away from me, it ain't even fair. This last death got my family rocky, because my cousin died from an overdose and foul play probably. And my aunt can't even view the body, cause she afraid that her job won't call her back. Can somebody stop me? See, that's that stuff that make a brother nervous. Tell me how we find our purpose, being 50, working at a temp service. It ain't our fault, it's all systematic. Left us nothing to inherit but some credit cards that was overbalanced, and some student loans from a racist education. Ancestors left behind debt instead of reparations. Now we locked down right behind the fence again, in the cell with some old brother yelling for insulin, throwing stuff up by the cell, claiming that it's sugar low. About to have a heart attack, won't see his grandchildren grow, but his grandson in jail cause the brother steady thugging. Probably end up in the same cell while granddaddy bugging. Youngin' ain't amount to nothing cause it's generational. Diagnosed with ADHD, no medication though. He was told to take it slow, and he wanna take it slow, but with no set example. Tell me how he's supposed to fake it though. Now that brother in the street fell in love with the freaks, had a baby young, he not involved, he don't even speak. Baby mama in the club, she just busy chasing trends. Don't nobody want her, they rather have her closest friends. Now she all on IG, calling him a deadbeat. What she don't know is he about to blow it to the street. Youngin' had a lot of beef, now it's finally catching up. Saw the brother robbed him last week, he had the weapon tucked. Saw him at the red light, shot him in the head twice. Police sitting at the stop sign, they caught him on sight. Now that brother doing life and he ain't got an outdate. These the type of things that happen daily on Outway. Welcome to my block, where we dodging the cops, we immune to hearing gunshots. Welcome to my block, where we pushing the rock, all we dream of shooting jump shots. Take a walk through my city, where there's no such thing but too young or too pretty. Take a walk through my city, where there's no such thing but too young or too pretty.